Welcome back to another episode on the Basin Motorsports YouTube channel. So I mentioned previously that we were going to go drag racing, and we did. And this is kind of how it went. So we ended up leaving about 7 o'clock in the morning. Drove all the way to Madras, which is about a 3-hour drive. 3 hours and 15 minutes or so north. Nothing going on there. We got there, and it was windy. Now the wind was probably going a headwind on the track, probably 20 to 30 miles an hour. And, well, it was slowing cars down a lot, like 0.2 of a second on an 1/8-mile track. That's pretty big. So now when we got there, basically, it was late morning. They were already doing time trials and that, so we were there to watch my brother-in-law run his 72 Vega. They call it the Vega Mino, because it's basically a Vega with the back half chopped up, essentially making it kind of like a pickup truck. My nephew is also running in his junior dragster. He is 12, I believe, going into 6th grade. So he was running that pretty well, running, I think, 11s in the 8th, which is pretty darn fast. So now after the morning trials and that, kind of getting the cars dialed in, I think the Vega was running like a 786 maybe in the 8th. It was doing pretty well. It's just got a small 383 stroker in it. And we ate lunch after that. So they had some burgers and that at the concession stand, so we ended up getting a couple of those. Now you're thinking, burgers ain't so bad. But in a 20-mile-an-hour wind, I'll tell you, the top buns, they become airborne. So we had to kind of keep an eye on our burgers and that, and, well, unfortunately I had a bag of Cheetos, the little bag, and I ended up losing half of my Cheetos to the wind. Took them. No bueno. So immediately after lunch, they started eliminations. So the junior dragsters went up first. There were 8 total in the day. I think there were 5 in my nephew's class. He ended up going against the eventual winner, a young lady named Jaden, I believe. She's in the pink dragster, and, well, he kind of psyched himself out. He ended up getting up there and having like a 3-second reaction time. We gave him some good ribbing over that, making a sandwich, watching cat videos, and, well, it wasn't a good turnout, so he ended up losing. Now next up came my brother-in-law, and he was running the Vega Camino, or what do you want, the Vega Mino. He was in the pro class, so he was up against some pretty good stiff competition that was able to run, I think, down in the 650s, if I remember right, in the 8th mile, which is pretty darn fast. Now the first round he went against a truck. Now you're thinking, oh, it's a truck, it's no big deal. This truck was running a blown big block, and if you keep an eye on the screen, you'll notice that it actually has one of those old plastic paper things for your mailbox. Kind of a joke, but the truck is definitely not a joke. Now, if you noticed in that, they're bracket racing, so obviously it's time dial in, and the truck ended up not doing a great burnout, so it slips off the line. Kind of, you can see it kind of lurching along, and when it finally grabbed track, and that sucker was gone. But it wasn't fast enough to meet my brother-in-law in the first round. So we get it to the second round, right? They allow them to cool off. They get the pro bracket back up. Second round, he ends up going against a really nice red Fairlane. Again, he was the slower car, got the jump, got out there, and beat him right to the end, and moved on from round 2. So round 3, he ends up getting a bye. The other competitor couldn't make it up there, so he gets a bye in the third round of the race for the day. And so he turns up the wick on the car. He's going to cut the best light he can, and he is not going to bracket race this thing. He's going to push it as fast as it will go to see what he can do. So he ends up dialing in a 786, I believe, and running like 100th of a second over that. Very, very good run, but he's right on the edge of not, I guess, breaking out. He's right on the edge of disqualifying himself out. So we come up to the 4th round. Getting late in the day. This is the top 8 at this point. And he comes up against another truck. Now, the whole day he'd been really running in the left lane. He ends up getting picked to go to the right lane. He is slightly the slower car, and the truck he's running against, it's a big tire truck, and it is no joke. So, because he kept the wick in it, what he ended up doing was breaking out. He had a 786 dial-in, and he ran a 782, which means he should have backed it off or, lowered his dial-in just a little bit. It was getting a little cooler during the day, and kind of late afternoon. I think it was about 3:30, somewhere around 4 o'clock. Wind was still a factor, but it was definitely getting cooler, so the car was making just that much more power. So anyway, that was the end of the day. He made the top 8, I believe. I don't know who won, but I'll tell you what, they are some fast cars out there. I think the fastest one was kind of like this little modified, wasn't a dragster, but it wasn't really a car. It's kind of like this little deuce coupe kind of deal. Ran, I think, a 5:58 in the 8th, which is pretty darn fast. So it ended up being a pretty good day otherwise, other than, we didn't win. Our team didn't win. But we got to spend some good family time out there. And, well, I got to tell you, I ran this track about 20 years ago. And it really kind of gave me the itch to want to go drag racing again. I haven't been drag racing in a long time, and I haven't built the WideFox to be able to be a drag car. Since it's going to have a battery in the back, I'll have to put in a switch, be NHRA legal, blah, 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 all that. So anyway, but I'll say it did give me the itis. I do want to go drag racing again. Ooh, that's scary. So, you may see the WideFox get converted or made so that it can go on an NHRA track. Be pretty fun, huh? Twisties, straight line. This car is going to be able to build to do it all. So with that, I will wrap up for the day. It was a great day yesterday, taking a day off and just going and being a spectator. But it also made me want to throw in a 408 big block in this thing, or a stroker, I should say, a 408 stroker. How about that, huh? Let's go push rod. Maybe a 408 versus Coyote? I don't know yet. I'm going to have to price it out and see what it is. So, to be continued. We'll see you next time from Basin Motorsports. Out.